The marble floors shone. The grand piano reflected the chandelier's golden glow. A sleek dining table stretched across the room, set for no one. It was Jonathan Reed's 42nd birthday. And he was alone. His phone vibrated again on the kitchen counter. Happy birthday, Mr. Reed. Wishing you another profitable year. Looking forward to Q1 projections. Jonathan glanced at the screen and turned it face down. Profit, growth, margins. His entire life ran on structure. He believed in systems, in discipline, in routine. He woke at subah ke 5 baje every day without an alarm. Black coffee, treadmill, cold shower, meetings, strategy, decisions that moved millions of dollars were their signature. He had built Reed Financial Group from a small investment firm into a national powerhouse through relentless consistency. Success, to him, was a habit. And habits didn't bend for birthdays. From down the hallway came a burst of laughter, bright and pure. Lily, his 7-year-old daughter, had inherited her mother's warmth and curiosity. Since her mother's passing 3 years ago, Lily had become quieter in some ways, but when she laughed, it filled the entire penthouse. Jonathan paused, listening. He rarely heard her laugh from this close. Most evenings he arrived home after she was asleep. He told himself he was doing it for her future, her security, her comfort. Yet the apartment often felt colder than the snow outside. In the kitchen, Emma Carter sat beside Lily at the island counter, a spread of craft supplies scattered before them, colored paper, glue sticks, glitter pens, and crayons. Emma's sweater sleeves were rolled up slightly, and there was a faint smudge of purple marker on her wrist. Careful with the glitter, she laughed softly. It has a habit of getting everywhere. Lily giggled. Like Daddy's meetings. Emma smiled gently. Maybe not that everywhere. Emma had been working as Lily's nanny for 11 months. 11 steady months of bedtime stories, school lunches, piano practice reminders, scraped knee comfort, and patient listening. She arrived each morning at subah ke 7:30 baje sharp. She left each evening quietly around subah ke 8 baje. Jonathan respected punctuality, but he had never truly seen her. To him, she was reliable, responsible, efficient, yet Emma carried something deeper. She came from a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. Her father had passed away when she was 16. Her mother still worked long shifts at a roadside diner, hands rough from years of scrubbing counters and carrying heavy trays. Emma had learned early that survival depended on routine. Wake early, help your mother, study hard, smile anyway. She believed something simple: kindness was not a feeling, it was a practice. Something you repeated daily until it shaped who you became. Should I draw balloons? Lily asked. Yes, Emma encouraged. Draw as many as you want. Lily's small tongue peeked out in concentration as she pressed a red crayon to the paper. Do you think Daddy will be home tonight? Lily asked quietly. Emma paused. He said he would try, she replied gently. Lily nodded but didn't look convinced. Emma noticed the slight slump in the child's shoulders. She saw it often around special days, recitals, class presentations, birthdays. Lily loved her father fiercely, but she had grown used to his absence. Habits, Emma knew, were powerful, and children noticed patterns more than promises. When the card was finished, glitter shimmered across the purple construction paper. On the front, Lily had written in uneven letters, Happy birthday, Daddy. Inside was a drawing, 3 stick figures holding hands beneath a bright yellow sun. The tallest figure wore a tie. The smallest held a stuffed bunny. Emma's chest tightened slightly. Let's leave it on the table, Lily said hopefully. So he sees it. That's a good idea, Emma nodded. She walked with Lily into the quiet dining area and carefully placed the card in the center of the large marble table. The table designed for 12 guests. The table that usually seated one. Later, after Lily was tucked into bed and drifting towards sleep, Emma stood alone in the kitchen. The city lights flickered beyond the glass. She hesitated. It wasn't her place. She was an employee. But she thought of Lily waiting by the door most evenings, listening for the elevator's ding, running to her room when it wasn't him. Emma pulled a small pen from her bag. She opened the card again. Her handwriting was neat but modest as she wrote beneath Lily's drawing. Mr. Reed, Lily talks about you every day. She waits for the sound of the elevator at night. She saves her best stories for you. You built an empire through discipline and habit. But the smallest habits often matter most. 10 minutes at bedtime, 1 question at dinner, 1 hug before sleep. Those habits build a childhood. Happy birthday, Emma. Her heart pounded slightly after she finished. Would he think she overstepped? Possibly, but she believed in truth spoken kindly. She closed the card and placed it back exactly where it had been. Then she turned off the kitchen lights and left quietly. It was nearly रात के पौने 12 बजे when Jonathan finally stepped off the elevator into the penthouse. He removed his coat, placed his briefcase down, and loosened his tie. Silence greeted him. He walked toward the kitchen for water, and stopped. The bright purple card sat alone in the center of the marble table. He almost walked past it. His mind was still replaying a major discussion, calculating numbers, forecasting projections. But something about the uneven glitter letters made him pause. He picked it up. A faint smile touched his lips at Lily's drawing. He traced the stick figure wearing the tie. Then his eyes moved downward. He read Emma's words once. Then again, and again. The room felt suddenly very still. 10 minutes at bedtime. When was the last time he had done that? He tried to remember. 2 months ago. 3. He couldn't. 1 question at dinner. They really ate dinner together. 1 hug before sleep. He exhaled slowly, tension pressing against his chest. His entire life was built on habit. And he had mastered the habits of success. But he had also mastered the habit of absence. Jonathan looked down the hallway toward Lily's bedroom door. The elevator ding. Emma's words echoed quietly in his mind. He set the card carefully back on the table. For the first time in years, he ignored the buzzing phone in his pocket. Instead, he walked down the hallway. He opened Lily's bedroom door slowly. Soft nightlight glow. Pink curtains. A stuffed rabbit tucked beneath her chin. He sat beside her, watched her breathe. Her small hand shifted slightly in sleep. Jonathan felt something unfamiliar, sharp and humbling. Regret. Not for lost deals. Not for missed investments. For missed moments. He leaned forward and gently brushed a strand of hair from Lily's forehead. "I'm here," he whispered, though she could not hear him. And in that quiet room, on his 42nd birthday, Jonathan Reed realized something no business school had ever taught him. The most powerful empires are not built in boardrooms. They are built in bedrooms at रात के 8 बजे, in 10 small minutes that become a lifetime of memories. And sometimes, all it takes to begin again is a simple birthday card on a kitchen table, but because Jonathan Reed woke up before his alarm, and didn't reach for his phone. For the first time in years, he lay still. Emma's words echoed in his mind. 10 minutes at bedtime, 1 question at dinner, 1 hug before sleep. He stared at the ceiling. All his life, he had believed in big moves, $1 million investments, strategic mergers, bold expansions. That was how empires were built. But what if childhoods were built differently? He swung his legs out of bed. No gym, no conference call, no headlines. Instead, he walked into the kitchen at सुबह के 7 बजे. And did something he hadn't done in years. He opened the refrigerator. A new habit begins. Emma arrived at सुबह के 7:30 बजे sharp, as always. She removed her gloves, stepped into the warm penthouse, and froze. Jonathan Reed was standing at the stove, in a grey sweater, holding a spatula. There was flour on the counter, and possibly on his sleeve. He looked up. "Good morning, Emma." She blinked twice. "Good morning, Mr. Reed. I'm making pancakes," he said seriously. She glanced at the slightly uneven shapes cooking in the pan. "Yes, I can see that." For a second, neither of them spoke. Then he said something that made her heart skip. "I read your note." Her face paled. "I'm so sorry if that was inappropriate," she rushed. "I didn't mean to overstep. You didn't," he interrupted gently. His voice was calm, different. "You reminded me that I've been successful in everything, except the place that matters most." Emma swallowed. Before she could answer, small footsteps padded down the hallway. Lily appeared in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. She stopped mid-step. "Daddy." Jonathan turned. "Good morning, birthday girl's favorite person." Her eyes widened when she saw the stove. "Are you cooking?" "I am," he nodded proudly. She ran to him and hugged his waist tightly. Emma watched quietly. Jonathan hesitated only a second before wrapping both arms around his daughter. 1 hug before sleep. He had missed that last night. But this morning, he wasn't going to miss this. The question that changed everything. They sat together at the long marble table. 3 plates, 3 glasses of orange juice. It felt unfamiliar. Jonathan cleared his throat. "So," he said awkwardly, "what's the best thing that happened at school this week?" Lily's face lit up. He had asked, not checked his phone, not glanced at emails, not half listened. He asked, and he waited. She talked about her art project. About a boy who traded cookies. About reading aloud in class. Jonathan listened like it was a board presentation worth billions. Because suddenly, it was. Emma stood by the counter quietly, pretending to organize dishes, but her eyes shimmered. This was the habit she meant. Small, simple, powerful. After breakfast, Jonathan turned to Emma. Walk with me. They stepped toward the window overlooking the snowy park. We've been thinking all night, he said. You grew up without much, didn't you? She nodded softly. We didn't have much money. But we had structure. Structure, he repeated. My mother believed that small daily habits keep people from falling apart. Saving $5. Eating dinner together. Reading before bed. Jonathan exhaled slowly. I built a corporation using habits. Systems. Discipline. He turned toward her. But I forgot that habits shape families too. Emma said nothing. He continued. I want to start something new. Not for profit. She looked confused. A foundation, he said. Focused on families. Teaching the habits that build stability, financial literacy, parenting routines, small daily discipline. Her eyes widened. And I want you to lead it. Silence. The city seemed to pause outside the glass. Me, she whispered. You understand this better than anyone in my executive boardroom. I'm just a nanny. No, he said firmly. You're a builder. You build childhoods every day. Her throat tightened. I don't have a business degree. I'll provide the education, the team, the resources. He stepped closer, voice steady. But I can't teach heart. You already have that. 6 months later, the ballroom glittered with chandeliers and cameras. A banner read Family Initiative, Building Better Habits, Building Better Futures. Emma stood backstage in a simple navy dress, hands trembling slightly. Jonathan approached, nervous. Yes, good, he smiled. It means you care. In 6 months, the program had opened community centers across the city. Free workshops teaching parents how to create daily routines. Savings challenges for single mothers. Evening reading circles for children. The impact was real. Families reported less stress. Children improved in school. Parents felt empowered. All because of simple, repeatable habits. Jonathan stepped onto the stage first. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, I built my company on discipline. But I nearly lost my daughter to distraction. The room fell silent. 6 months ago, someone left a birthday card on my kitchen table. Emma's breath caught. It reminded me that empires are built in boardrooms, but families are built in bedrooms at 8 p.m. He turned toward her, and the woman who wrote that note is the reason this foundation exists. Applause thundered. Emma walked onto the stage, overwhelmed. Jonathan handed her the microphone. You changed my life, he said quietly, so only she could hear. She shook her head. You chose to change. He smiled. That's the power of habit. It starts small, but once you begin, it transforms everything. Across the room, Lily sat in the front row, clapping proudly. That night, at exactly रात के 8 बजे, no matter the gala, no matter the guests, Jonathan left early. He went home. He sat on Lily's bed. Best part of your day? He asked. She grinned. You. And for the first time in years, Jonathan Reed knew. He wasn't just building wealth anymore. He was building a legacy.